Today we complete our survey of ecology with conservation biology. We've seen a number of different factors that influence population size, relationships between species, the importance of the physical environment. Today we're going to look at human impacts on natural systems. Before we get there, though, I want to at least have a framework of when life is possible on this planet. And we saw a month or two ago how life began, how in a very, very different planet with an enormous amount of volcanic activity, a very different atmosphere, that lightning strikes would help to generate a lot of organic compounds. Somehow, somewhere in there, in the primordial soup, the first self-replicators arose, and they eventually got really good at what they did and gave rise to proper bacteria. Now I want to go to the other end of lifespan on this planet and ask, how will it end? Life on Earth ultimately depends on what happens with the sun. The sun is now 4.5 billion years old, and the amount of energy radiating out into space is just right for life on Earth. But a billion years from now, the sun will be 10% brighter than it is today, and the oceans will start to evaporate. There will only be marine pools left to host any form of life. Further in the future, 3.5 billion years from now, the sun will be 40% brighter. All water will be lost. The Earth's atmosphere will be just like Venus. Life as we know it will not be possible. In the meantime, we have this window where life is suitable here on the planet for at least several hundred million years. A lot of things can happen over a scale of hundreds of millions of years. Looking backwards in time, there's evidence of 5 great extinctions. Of these 5 great extinctions, where if we look at the number of species alive on Earth at any one time, a large proportion were lost. The biggest was here. 90% of species went extinct over a very short period of time at the end of the Permian. Animals in the oceans, animals on land. What happened? Turns out that there was a vast amount of volcanic activity spreading lava over an area from Siberia all the way down to India. This released massive amounts of greenhouse gases, and the ocean temperatures warmed to 40 degrees. That'd make for an uncomfortably hot bath. Again, at 201 million years ago came the end of the Triassic. 76% of marine and terrestrial species went extinct. What happened? This time, there's evidence that all the continents which had been together in a supercontinent known as Pangaea began to break up. This happened over a fairly short period of time, just 40,000 years, and this released a massive amount of greenhouse gas yet again, and temperatures on Earth rose by 3 degrees Celsius. Then at 66 million years ago is the famous end Cretaceous. This is where all the dinosaurs went extinct, triggered by the impact of an asteroid that was 10 kilometers across. At about the same time, there was a lot of volcanism. The volcanism may have been triggered by the asteroid strike itself, or it may just have been a coincidence. Either way, with this huge impact from the asteroid and all the volcanic activity, all the dinosaurs went extinct over a short period of time. We are now facing another period of profound change. The Earth's population exceeds 7 billion people, and it's growing fast. The world population has grown by over 20 million people since the first day of class, and that's like adding the population of Australia or Taiwan. It's growing 6.5 million people every month. That's adding the population of Los Angeles and Chicago every month of the year. Population's growing and growing, something has to give. We know the impacts of all this human growth is very devastating for the natural world around us. There's an international organization called IUCN that releases periodic red lists of the status of all the living things around the Earth, and it gives their conservation status, whether they're vulnerable to extinction, whether they might be considered endangered, critically endangered, or even extinct. And this is a variety of different taxonomic groups. These are plants, cycads, the amphibia, different kinds of coral, sharks and rays, and so on. For each one of these groups, there is a large number that are vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered. Extinction is a very real process that's happening right now. And if trends continue, it's estimated that 75% of all animals will disappear within the next 300 to 2,000 years. If that happens, that's an extinction rate that's similar to the end Permian or the end Cretaceous extinction events. Well, so what? There have been mass extinctions in the past. We lose species. Does it really matter? Does it make any difference to our own well-being? Who needs all those species?